year is 1581. You are a powerful daimyo in feudal Japan. Life is good. You have hundreds of servants waiting to do your bid and call. Over 12,000 fearless samurai warriors are willing to fight and die for you. But danger lurks everywhere. You are surrounded by enemies who are ready and willing to take your land and your power. Nearby, in a prefecture called Bizen Province, there exists a school of swordsmiths who are fashioning the finest swords in the history of samurai. Centuries later, we will all wonder at the secret techniques they use to make these indestructible and beautiful blades. So you travel there. You come back with a sword from Asafuni Tsukisada, and you stand before your men and you know the power of the phrase, "There is nothing between heaven and earth that a man need fear who carries at his side this magnificent blade." This is Dragonfly. 5 centuries later, it has been in the hands of countless warriors and lords, and we have it today. I have it. And we're going to discuss it. This is Sword Talk. Hello again, wherever you are and however you found us. Thanks for spending part of your day with us here at Sword Talk. We've only been public for 9 weeks, but I really have to thank the listeners who have made this show or are making it as popular it is. I'm really humbled by it, and I'm glad that you're enjoying it. We have mostly new people to samurai. We have some senseis. We have some people who are longtime samurai people. We welcome everybody. I have to do a couple of YouTube stuff. I'm still getting used to YouTube. I have to remind you to check out our website, which is American-samurai.com. American dash, don't forget the dash, samurai.com. And I'm supposed to remind you to subscribe, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, all that stuff. Again, I'm learning how important that is in the YouTube world for what I guess I call recognition points, things that help make other people find us easier. Anyway, do all that, okay? and be a part of the show and tell your friends about it. And speaking of that, something really terrific happened. In the last episode, I was teasing and I said that according to Google Analytics, in just 9 weeks, we were in 18 countries, which amazes me. But we had nobody in South America. And I pleaded with, well, I didn't plead with you. I requested that somebody out there must know somebody in South America. Well, within 24 hours, I got an email and from someone in South America and said, "I'm here, new subscription, South America." So one by one, we're just going to take over the world and make the whole world samurai knowledgeable. Well, as promised, this is the part 3 of the 3 katanas, and I'm very excited about this. This is, I think you're really going to love this sword. Dragonfly. As we said in the opening, 1581, August 1581, to be specific, because the samurai are specific. On the tang of the sword, as we discussed before, is engraved the name of the smith, the year, the month and year that he made this. He made the sword, the prefecture, which in this case is extremely important, or the province from which he came, and all the certification information that goes on the certificate. The swords are always registered, always my swords are, the antique swords that I offer for you, all come with certification from the NBTHK, which means they've been registered with the official Samurai Preservation Society, certifying that they are authentic. This particular one carries Tokobetsu Hozan papers. There's different levels of certification. Tokubetsu Hozon translates as extremely worthy of preservation. So, for those of you who are extremely worthy of owning this sword, let me tell you a little bit more about it. It's 444 years old, so it's been around a long time. The blade, as you saw in the intro, and we're going to see again, is in perfect condition. It's been beautifully maintained, beautifully polished. Over the years, it has been in and out of the hands of warriors, collectors, and now I got it, and you can have it. The koshire, which is, again, everything but the blade. There's the blade, and then what the Japanese call furniture, koshire. It's the scabbard, they call the saya, the handle, and all of the fittings. All the fittings are genuine antique also. In this case, we have some extremely beautiful fittings. So over the centuries, each owner might add or substitute or replace part of the fittings. Most commonly, the ito, the silk handle, will be replaced. In this particular case, it's the newest part of the koshire, and it's the thing that attracted me first to it. I don't know how well this is going to come out, but it's a blue-green teal color. Because the fittings are so extremely beautiful, the way the design is on the sword is created so that it really shows off the fitting. But I'm not going to start with the Manuk. I'm going to start with the blade, because that's what we're here for, right, folks? Okay. This is it. Asafuni Sukisada. Now, for those of you who have been with me for the 9 weeks, you know that we pronounce things phonetically for my audience. There are different pronunciations of almost every Japanese term. Another way to pronounce the school and the smith is Shuchisada, but I don't like to make things difficult. Again, this is an Osofune Sukisada blade from the 15th century. The school, as we discussed in the intro, comes from a very, very famous province. Bizen province or prefecture was the old name for it. And this school of smiths, incredibly famous. To this day, it is very notable among people who collect just the blades. We don't buy just the blades. We like a sword that's got the whole shebang, that is all dressed up in great koshire, because I want you not to store this in some vault in a bag like professional collectors tend to do with their blade only. I want this on your wall, on your bookcase, on your desk, because these are really fine works of art and just impressive wow figures. To this day, we don't know exactly the secret techniques that they used to produce these blades. Now, Japan is a very, very traditional country. Japan didn't produce any Picassos. What they did is they settled on certain classic designs, like the Hamons, and then they tried to just keep perfecting it and perfecting it. It's an outgrowth of the Zen Buddhism tradition. So even today, the tradition continues that modern smiths will say they forge their blades following or trying to copy the Bizen swordsmiths. That's how famous the smiths are. We learned about the hamon, that's the design in the blade. There are just a few basic styles. The straight hamon is the sugaha. The wavy one is madari, wave. This one is gunomi, which is a wave, but it's regular semicircular patterns in the steel. The shape of the blade. I have some blades that I've showed you that are nice and thick blades. I kind of like those, but the long, thin ones like this are very, very elegant. The blade is really nicely balanced. It feels like, the Ido students like to say, how does it feel in the hand? In the hand is the expression. And this one's great. I encourage you, when you own these swords, pick them up every day, every week. Again, you're handling a piece of art that has come down through centuries. Lots of owners, they've seen battle. I think you feel the history and the spiritual significance of it every time you pick it up. And just be careful not to cut yourself. Remember, when we put these in, we always put that tip in like that, get that in, and then ride it back on the mune, which is the back of the blade. All right, let's talk about the fittings on it. Let's start with the kuragata. The kuragata is usually a very, very plain piece. It's made to anchor the cord, the saggio or saggio, that clips to your belt, to the samurai's belt. And they're normally, they're the horn of water buffalo, a clear black lacquer finish. This one is beautifully done in hammered steel with a dragonfly of gold and silver. It's exquisite, and it's really best seen under high magnification, because what looks like one solid line of gold is actually little dots of gold under magnification. I love kuragatas because they're usually plain, and this one is magnificently artistic. And that's always a sign that this has been in the hands of a very influential or powerful daimyo. When I get these swords, a lot of times the fittings need to be cleaned up. There's decades, if not a century or so, of tarnish. Now, that's a very controversial thing, so I might as well tell you now that I do controversial stuff. Now, the blade is always kept absolutely perfect, but purists sometimes like a little patina or the tarnish on the fittings. I don't. Leave it alone, and it'll get that patina in a year or two, and see if you like it, and that's great. But when you get them from me, they're gonna be first class. Okay. Oops. What, is it something I said? All right. Next, I want to talk to you about the kojiri. Again, if you've been following this series, you know I'm in love with kojiris because they're kind of rare. It's the end cap of the saya. Again, most of the time they're short, they're just an inch or two, and they're plain water buffalo. This one is artistic piece. Hand carved, beautifully arranged, and detailed with a dragonfly. Dragonfly is a little bit of gold, a little bit of silver, and a little bit of what we call shikudo, which is a combination of gold and copper. The menuki. The menuki is a goose, which to the samurai in the Buddhist tradition represents long life, health, good fortune. The goose has conquered all three realms. It's at home on the ground, in the air, and in the water. Also, there is the gold, it's the gourd of sunyata. So there's Buddhist symbol of enlightenment. Beautiful piece. And you notice when it's mounted on the handle, the regular pattern of the diamonds is interrupted for just the section that forms the background of the menuki. I like this pattern so much that I've used it twice now, I think, or 3 times, on my 8 Samurai series. Why? Because it's the best way to highlight the menuki. It always means that the menuki is of high artistic quality, because 98% of the time the menuki is hidden under the ito wrapping. That's just been the tradition. When it's an exceptionally artistic piece and it's been fitted after the 17th century, when the samurai were at peace, this is no longer going to be used in war, then then they use this solid presentation background. And the Manuki is held on by two thin strands of the silk. So it exposes the most of the artistic piece. Fantastic. But the tsuba. Now the tsuba, you're really going to like this if you're as immature as I am, because I think this is kind of really cute. First of all, the tsuba, I think I rate it as the oldest fitting on the blade, because it is iron, a tetsu. And later on, they were using the softer metals, we call them kinko, so that they could inlay them with gold and silver and become much more artistic. The tsuba on this sword is, in a way, plainer. It has nice carvings in it, but they're simple. In fact, it's signed, and that's unusual because tsubas are usually not signed unless they're made for a prominent person by a prominent person. So what about the tsuba am I excited about? What is that childish thrill that I get out of it? Well, when the samurai's wearing his katana, the habaki, or the collar that's fitted to the end of it, and this one it's gold, beautiful, looks like raindrops, is rough because it makes a tight seal on the sword so the sword doesn't fall out. So before you draw the sword, the samurai notches it like a gunslinger of the Old West would notch his gun before fast drawing. So off to the side, you kind of notch the sword so that you can bring it out easier. This is truly a sword of a warrior, because on the tsuba, where the thumb would notch out the blade, it's kind of worn out. It's the result of thousands and thousands of drawing of the sword. Another reason why I bought it, because it has that kind of warrior feel to it. The theme of this blade, as I've said in the intro, is Dragonfly. That's what the name of the blade is, Dragonfly, because the fittings are beautifully hand-carved dragonflies. Dragonfly represents a creature that never retreats, always attacked, dedicated to absolute victory. All right, well, that's all three katanas. Oh, by the way, this particular one, Dragonfly, I wanted to say this because it's really impressive. Comes with this beautiful silk brocade sword bag. This one's exquisite. This is worth buying just for the sword bag, okay? I will also throw in, for any of the katanas you buy, a silk fukusa. This is for handling the sword. I get these from a family-owned business in Japan. They've been making these for 300 years. Same family. So I always like to get one from for every blade that I custom make. And what I'll do for the katana series here is throw one in free. So go back to episode 12 and 13. See the other two katanas for sale. The first one, Mahara Lion, has a hold on it, so I can't discuss price on that. That one is under $40,000, but it's on hold, so that may or may not be available for sale. If you're interested in that, contact me. The second one is the Lord of Saga. We're selling that for $19,500. That's a terrific price. And then this one, Dragonfly, $17,500. $17,000 for a 444-year-old sword that's certified. Anyway, I'd love to see these find really great homes. I'd love to get you started with the samurai collecting bug. If none of these katanas suit you, keep looking. We have tantos coming up next. I got some really great prices on tantos. We are going to get you one way or another to the samurai sword. Or you can just keep watching for the fun of it. Again, really, really thank you for your support. I'm glad you're watching. Tell friends about it. Tell family about it. Tell everybody about it. It keeps me off the streets and keeps me busy. And my wife's happy that I have something to do all day when I'm not swinging my sword in training. Thanks for visiting. See you next time on Sword Talk.